last night, President Obama called Nelson Mandela a moral giant who embodied the dignity and the courage and the hope to inspire millions of people around the world. Mandela, a personal hero to the president. Let's bring in John Carl from the White House with more on that. And John, President Obama kept that photo we see right there, his one brief meeting with Mandela. It's on his desk in the Oval Office.
That's right, George. That photo is of a chance encounter that Senator Barack Obama had in a Washington hotel room with Nelson Mandela back in 2005. A copy of it was also in Mandela's office in South Africa. That is somebody who the president saw not just as a hero, as a great leader, but also as the person who awakened him to the outside world. In a sense, listening to the president, you get the sense that there would not be a President Obama if it weren't for Nelson Mandela. In fact, the very first public speech that Barack Obama ever gave was as a young college student in 1979 for Mandela's cause, speaking out against apartheid in South Africa. Now, President Obama hoped to meet one last time with Nelson Mandela in June when he traveled to South Africa. I was on that trip. Mandela was in no condition to meet with the president, but he did visit Robben Island, and there you see him in that tiny 8x8 cell that Nelson Mandela spent 17 years of his years imprisonment. I can tell you, George, that was quite a trip to Africa for the first African-American president, but without question, the emotional highlight of that trip was when he stepped into that cell on Robben Island.
And of course, Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama have something in common. They're both the first black presidents of their countries, but President Obama would bristle at any comparisons.
That's right, and in fact, it was interesting. On that Africa trip, President Obama compared Mandela to somebody else, to George Washington, as really the founder of South Africa, and also in the sense that Mandela stepped down from power voluntarily, just as George Washington stepped down after 2 terms, and Mandela stepped down after only 1.
Such an important example to set. Okay, John Carl, thanks very much.